Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the second game of the 2025 Colorado Rocky replay, game two of 59 that I plan on doing. They start 0-1 as they lost opening day 5-0. They actually won this game real world to improve to 1-1, so they ended up actually going uh, 8-49. I think is what it turned out to be for the next 57 games. So we'll see how it turns out. Zach Littell on the mound for Tampa Bay, and Antonio Senzatela is on the mound for the Rockies. Back at Steinbrenner Field, where singles are 1-6 left, 1-15 right, and home runs are 1-10 left, 1-13 right. This game was played March 29th, 2025. I have this off view, but it's here if you want to be able to see who's available. And the ones scratched out were the ones used yesterday. So I'm going to try to use other players if at all possible, at least for the pitching. Now, of course, Freeman pinch hit in the first game. No reason not to have him pinch hit again if need be. But for the pitchers, I would like to use the other pitchers if it makes sense. So that's what we'll go with. And Zach Littell, 8-8 with a 358 earned run average for Zach Littell in the 2025 season. And he'll be facing center fielder Brenton Doyle. And let me get my other die. Missing 1d6 from because I only needed 1d6 for the Fall Classic game. I did this earlier, so now I'm back to the 2 dice as normal. Rolling the d20 only when necessary. And here is Brenton Doyle. 2-9 against the right-hander, and that is a strikeout. He struck out 3 times in the first game. So Brenton Doyle hitting those strikeouts pretty heavily. He struck out 138 times in the 2025 season. So he's out, and here's Ezequiel Tovar, the shortstop. 5-9, and that's going to be an in-home run chance, 1-19. This could be the first run of the replay for the Rockies. He has normal power, but a 1-19 for Zach Littell. Get a close-up here, 5-9 against the right-handers. That's a 1-19 home run. It would be just the Rockies' luck to roll a 20, though. But anything other than a 20, and the Rockies take the lead and have their first run. And they do. How about that? Ezequiel Tovar, home run. First run of the year for the Rockies. Took them to the second game to get it. But they take a 1-0 lead. Hello, Joel. See you. So home run, Ezequiel Tovar, and the Rockies lead it 1-0. Here's Ryan McMahon. 1-6, and that's another strikeout. Strikeout number 2 for Littell. 2 down, and that brings up Chris Bryant. He is uncarded, so we're using the nameless player to capture his patheticness, if that's a word. 1-4, he grounds it right back to Littell to end the inning, but the Rockies take a 1-0 lead on the home run from Ezequiel Tovar, and they have turned the lead over to Antonio Senzatela, and he's not very good. And if you missed it in the team reveal or team, showing off of the players, look at his numbers. He gave up 192 hits in just 130 innings, 4-15, 6.65 ERA. But they threw him out there 23 times as a starter, and then also used him as a reliever. I looked it up. He was actually much more effective as a relief pitcher, so maybe that's his calling in the future. I don't know how they're using him this year or if he's even on the team this year. Don't know where he is right now. But Yandy Diaz played first base in game 1. He is the designated hitter here in game 2, and he will lead off for the Tampa Bay Rays. That's a 2-3, and that's a ballpark single check. And for a right-hander, it's 1-15 for Yandy Diaz to get himself a base hit. And it's a 17, so it might be a good start for the Rockies the way these things are going. That'll be a line out to short. Out number 1. Brings up Brandon Lau, second baseman. It's a 3-5 for Lau. That's a ballpark blast For left-handers, it's 1-10. And that's a 19, so second D20 in a row that has gone the Rockies' way. Could have been a single and a home run. It could be a 2-1 ball game right now, but the D20 has helped them out. Here's Junior Caminero, third baseman. That's a 2-2, and he's hit by the pitch plus injury, but it's as played, so we're not doing injuries. It is a hit by pitch. Senzatela is a -1 hold when you combine him with the catcher. He needs a 5 to get a lead, does Caminero. Caminero stole 7 bases, got caught once. He's going to try for the lead. He needs a 5. Doesn't get it, he will hold. And here's Jonathan Aranda. He did not play in game 1 as he was facing a lefty, Kyle Freeland. So he rested, did not play in game 1, but I believe he is their regular first baseman. He had 370 at bats. So Jonathan Aranda stepping to the plate. All right, Aranda, 6'9", and that's a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. So how about that? Tampa Bay is Colorado is a 1-0 lead after 1. The question is, how long will that last? Littell back out. He'll face Michael Toglia, followed by Goodman and Martini. Toglia 1-5, and that's a strikeout. That's the third strikeout for Littell. And here comes Hunter Goodman. Catcher Hunter Goodman. 2-5 for Goodman. That's a 1-8 home run. 9-20 would be a double. And that's a double for Hunter Goodman. 1-out double for Goodman. Bats finally coming alive for the Rockies, as they were pretty dead in game 1. Here's Martini, right fielder. Whoa, that missed the tray there. It's re-rolled everything. 5-11, and that's a ballpark blast from Martini, but he has weak power, so if it's successful, it's only going to be a single, 2 stars. It would score the run, though. So the home run is a 1-10, and that's a 9, so it won't be a home run because he has weak power, but it will be a single, 2 stars, and scoring is Goodman. Rockies lead it 2-0. Rockies came to play today, apparently. 2-0 lead. Of course, it's early. And here's Kyle Farmer. 3-8 for Farmer. That's ground ball pitcher A. That'll be a 1-4-3 double play to end the inning. But an RBI an RBI single rather from Nick Martini gives the Rockies a 2-0 lead going to the bottom of the second. Senzatela facing Christopher Morel, the left fielder, followed by Meisner and Jansen. 6'5", right-hander. Ground ball to third, and McMahon makes the play, 1 away. Here's Cameron Meisner. He did not play in game 1 because they were facing a lefty starter, so they used a right-hander instead. But he is the center fielder. He only hit .213. He's a right fielder. He only hit .213 on the season. 1-4, and that's a ground ball to second. Easy play for Farmer. 2 up, 2 down for the catcher, Danny Jansen. That's a 5-7, and that's a single. First hit of the game for the Rays. Jansen, no threat to run. He won't go anywhere. Here's Taylor Walls, the shortstop. It's a 2-7 for Walls, and that's a 1-2 double. 1-2 is a double. 3-20 is a single. 2 stars either way. It is a single, 2 stars to put runners on the corners. Now a clutch situation for Johnny DeLuca, the center fielder. He, of all those triples, he had 2 triples in game 1. Clutch situation here for him. He will lose a hit on 2-7 and 3-4 in the clutch. That's a 5-9, and that's a strikeout. So Senzatela gets his first strikeout of the game, and the Rockies hold on and maintain a 2-0 lead as we go to the third. Can they actually win this game? Well, they did win it in real world, so it would be mimicking real world life if they won the game. Here's the ninth hitter, Jordan Beck, left fielder. 3-6 for Beck, and he grounds it to second. Easy play for Brandon Lau, one away. And here's Brenton Doyle. He's been striking out a lot. He needs to start making contact. 5-7, and he will strike out again. He has been a strikeout machine over there, and your leadoff man should not be striking out like this. Here's Ezekiel Tovar. He homered his first time up. 1-8 for Tovar. He will fly to right, and that's going to do it for the Rockies very quickly here in the third. We go to the bottom of the third, still 2-0 Rockies. Due up for the Tampa Bay Rays, it'll be the top of the order, Yandy Diaz, the designated hitter. That's a 5-8, and that's trouble for Senzatela. Most likely it's going to be a double, unless we get a 1. And it's going to be a leadoff double for Yandy Diaz. So Diaz is on with a double, brings up Brandon Lau, second baseman. 3-3 for Lau, and that's a base on balls, so it's starting to look ominous for Mr. Senzatela. Looked good for 2 innings, and now you almost feel it bubbling up. Here's Junior Caminero, who got hit by a pitch his first time. 5-3. Ground ball pitcher X. Senzatela is a 2-0, so there's a chance he might be able to turn a double play and get out of this, or at least get mostly out of it. No, he can't make an error. We'll roll, make sure there's no rare play. There is not. So he's a 2. So as a pitcher, to get a G1 out of a 2, he would need to get a 13 or higher to get a double play. 7 means it's going to be a actually 7 means the runners are going to advance. It's just a G3, so it's almost like a sacrifice bunt. Serves the same purpose. Second and third, 1 out, and now that takes us to Aranda, the first baseman. And the Rockies are going to play in. They're playing everything close to the vest in this game. They need to not give up cheap runs if they can avoid it. 4-8. Ground ball second base A. That'll freeze the runner. Freeze both runners with the ground ball A. So 2 down. And now Christopher Morel in a clutch situation. He will lose a hit 2-11. And that's it. He loses a hit 2-11, and that is it in the clutch. We had a 4-6, and that's a ground ball to short. So Senzatela pitches around the first 2 base runners and puts another goose egg on the board. We go to the fourth. It's still 2-0 Rockies. Littell back out. He'll be facing McMahon, Bryant, and Tolia for the Rockies. That's a 2-6 for McMahon, and he strikes out. Strikeout number 5 for Littell. That brings up Chris Bryant. That's a 1-10 for Bryant. He grounds it to third, 2 down. And that'll send up Tolia. Strikeout victim, his first chance. 1-7. He'll strike out again. Strikeout number 6. Very quick 4th inning for Tampa. For Tampa's pitching. Rockies holding a 2-0 lead, but it's precarious, especially with Senzatela on the mound. Cameron Meisner will lead it off for the Rays. 2-8 for Meisner, struck him out. Second strikeout for Senzatela. Brings up Danny Jansen. Singled his first time up, was stranded at third base. 2-8, and he's going to pop it up to short. Tovar there, 2 down. For Taylor Walls, he also singled his first trip. 4-8, and this time he'll draw a base on balls. And that is the second walk issued by Senzatela. He's also hit a batter. Walls, chance to get a lead, needs a 2 through 6, 11 or a 12. That's a 2. He gets the lead. He's going to go 17 being held as a 15. -1's a 14. 1 to 14, he's safe. And he's thrown out, caught stealing. Good throw by Goodman to throw him out and end the inning. So that'll do it for the Rays at the end of 4. It's 2-0 Rockies, surprisingly. right, here's Hunter Goodman. Goodman doubled and scored his first trip, 4-6, and this time he will strike out. Strikeout number 7 for Littell. Rockies are just, if they're not hitting the ball, if they're not putting base hits on there, they're striking out. Most of their outs are strikeouts. Here's Martini, 6'8" lefty. That's a pop out second base for Brandon Lau. 2 down for Kyle Farmer. 5-7, and that's another strikeout for Littell. His 8th strikeout of the game, but he trails at 2-0 to the Rockies. This will be the fatigue inning for Senzatela, number 5, so we'll keep an eye on that. And again, these are the bullpen arms that are available. Kinley and Vodnik pitched yesterday for Colorado, so they still got these guys that have not pitched yet that could come in and pitch in back of Senzatela if need be. Johnny DeLuca, the center fielder, will lead things off. Hello, Jeff. Thank you. It's like I said, I don't know what made me think of that, but I was thinking of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I thought, as bad as the Rockies were, maybe we could do a play on words and see what happens. But yeah, I want to do something with the 2025 set. I bought it. I might as well use it, and I can learn maybe a little bit about some of these guys. I don't know. I still haven't watched much of the 2026 season that's out there right now, but maybe I will once I play this. Here's DeLuca, 3-9. That's a strikeout for Senzatela. That is his 3rd. And here is Yandy Diaz. 5-7, and that's a base hit for Yandy Diaz. He is 2 for 3. No threat to run, though. Here's Brandon Lau, second baseman. That is a 3-8, and that's a straight-up home run for Brandon Lau, and we have a tie ball game. There he is, Brandon Lau on the 3-8 against right-handers. No D20 is needed. That's a solid home run for Brandon Lau. 2-run home run, and we have a tie ball game at 2. Now the Rocky bullpen is going to start loosening as Senzatela is 1 base runner away from fatigue. Here's Junior Caminero. So let's look and see who they've got in the bullpen that they didn't use yesterday. It appears, let's see, they have anybody with multiple innings that can go. Let's see here. Jimmy Herget is going to be loosening the bullpen. He has a 2 for relief endurance, and he's not too bad. 1-2 with a 2.48 ERA and 83 innings pitched. So Jimmy Herget is loosening in the Rocky bullpen. Caminero, 6-7, and that's a 1-17 double. And that's a 9. That'll be a double, and now Senzatela is tired. And I am using the modern rules. Not that I like them, but I am going to use it because I'm playing a modern season. So whoever I bring in has to pitch to 3 batters. It's not like I can bring in a lefty to face a Ronda and then switch out with a righty. Now, 2 of the 3 are left-handed, so I'm almost thinking about bringing in Peralta, a lefty, instead. Peralta, though, was not very good. 1-3 with a 9.47 ERA, so kind of iffy about doing that. Alexander, the other lefty, also has not been used, but he's not any good either. He's 1-1 with a 6.11 ERA, so really kind of shying away from bringing in either one of those guys. Although Aranda looks like he's got power against righties and not so much against lefties. Man. They're going to make a move to the bullpen, and they're going to begrudgingly go to Alexander out of the bullpen, left-hander. So we'll go to Alexander. Scott Alexander for the Rockies. Senzatela cannot win it. He could lose it. He is responsible for the runner on second base with 1 out. Alexander, a -1 hold, makes him a 0. Senzatela is going to go 4 1/3 innings. He's so far going to give up 2 runs, but he is responsible for this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like 6 hits. He walked 2, hit a batter, and he struck out 3. Leave this at 2 right now, but it could change to 3. So right now, Scott Alexander finishing the warm-up tosses, and he'll be having a lefty-lefty matchup with Aranda, followed by the righty Morrell, but then another lefty Meisner. So that's why they went with the lefty begrudgingly. 2 out of 3 are left-handed. 1 out, and Aranda facing Alexander. It's a 6-8 left-handed. That's a double 2 stars, and that'll score the run, make it 3-2 Rays, and that closes the book on Senzatela. He will be charged with the 3 runs. 1 out, runner at second for Christopher Morrell. Six, 7, and that's going to be another double. 3 doubles in a row. And things started out rosy for the Rockies, but they're definitely turned to a horror show now. 3 doubles in a row. It is now a 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning so far for the Rockies, for the Rays rather. And here's Cameron Meisner, 3-4 lefty. That's a ballpark single check, which is a 1-6 at Steinbrenner Field. That's a 5. That's the way it's going. Base hit, 1 star. That'll put runners on the corners now. I think they're going to go grab Alexander. He's faced his minimum of 3 batters. So they will go do what they were going to do the first time, which is bring in Jimmy Herget. He's much better. So Jimmy Herget will come on. Alexander couldn't get anybody out. He's going to give up 3 hits. And he's given up 1 run. He's also responsible for these 2 runners. But we had to leave Alexander in there for the 3 minimum batters faced, which is the rule in 2025. So we will use Herget. And Herget will face Danny Jansen with 1 out and runners at the corners. And I don't know if Meisner might even be looking to get a lead here and try to pour it on. Herget is a 0 with his hold, combining with the catcher. So we'll see if Meisner can get a lead. Needs a 2 through 5. He does not get the lead, so he'll hold. And here's Danny Jansen. He is a double play candidate. You would think they're going to play. They're going to play back for the double play. Hello, Beatles. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Herget to Jansen, 6-3, and that's a fly ball left field X. So we go to our left field X chart, and the left fielder is Jordan Beck. He's a 3E4. So we come over here to 3. He's got to get at least a 7 to be able to make this play. The D20 has to be 7 or higher. And it rolled to a 4, wouldn't you know? It's a single 2 stars. Things are going from bad to worse for the Rockies. The Rocky Horror Baseball show continues. Meisner goes to third. We're checking for an error. He's an E4, so he's got to avoid 3, 4, 15, and 18, which he barely does. But instead of making a play, it's a base hit. Rockies now lead it 5-2. And 9th man to bat in the inning, Taylor Walls, with runners still at the corners. And that's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. So we're checking the balk rating of Herget, which is a 9. And Herget balks a run in, making it 6-2. Takes the double play out of the equation as well. Looks like they're going to bat around most assuredly. 1-4. Ground ball second base C. That'll get the runner to third base with 2 outs. But now they bat around. As DeLuca led off the inning striking out, is back up again. Clutch situation with the runner at third and 2 outs. That's another 2. And that's another 2. Possible balk. 1-9. And he balks the run in. So 2 balks in the inning by Herget. Makes it now 7-2. And we can close the book on Alexander. All 3 of those runs were earned that he brought in. 3-6 for that's a strikeout finally. So after all those runs, DeLuca is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts and 2 strikeouts in the 5th inning. So that's really kind of strange there. But a 7 spot for the Rays, and they take the 7-2 lead. The Rockies won this game real world, but it's not looking good right now. I can tell you that. Not at all. Hello, Fast Action. Good to see you. Well, I'm not sure this is going to be a ghost running game because the game has to actually be close. When it's a blowout, it's kind of hard to need the ghost runners. And the guy who's appreciating everything is Zach Littell. He gets 7 runs of support. And he can just pitch freely now to Jordan Beck. It's a 2-9 to Beck, and he strikes out. That's the 9th strikeout for Zach Littell. And it's a good thing I'm not a Rockies fan because I doubt I could do this if I was, because I would be too frustrated. But I really don't care. I'm just curious to do it. Here's Doyle, 3-7. That's a 1-15 single. And that's a base hit for Doyle. He whoops down up this way. Doyle finally gets himself a base hit. That took a long time. It was 0 for yesterday. He finally gets a base hit. He's a good base runner, but you're down 7-2. So, but you know what? They're the Rockies, so we don't care. We're going to steal anyway, or at least attempt it. Needs a 4 or a 6. Doesn't get the lead, so it's a moot point. Here's Tovar. That's a 3-12, and that's a low max. What do you know that? The karma of trying to steal down 7-2 has induced a low max to second base on the 3-12. That's what the karma does for you on the 3-12. When you try to steal down 7-2, the baseball gods come back and give you karma with a low max to second base for a L4, 4 unassisted, or 4-3 double play, I guess it would be. They throw it to first. And that's going to do it for the Rockies. So Herget back out for another inning of work, or if you want to call it, out for more punishment. Here's Yandy Diaz. We're in this column now because it's the 6th. 4-9, and that's a strikeout for Herget. Brings up Brandon Lau. It's a 2-9 for Lau. He strikes out. So Herget strikes out the last 3 batters he has faced. And here is Caminero. 6-8, and that's a fly to left to end the inning. So we go to the 7th inning. It's still 7-2. Littell has gone 6 innings, but I think we're going to be realistic, it's only the 2nd game of the season. These guys are not stretched out. So to be realistic, I think 6 innings at max is reasonable for a starter. So now we go to the Rays bullpen. Montgomery, Rodriguez, and Uceda pitched yesterday. So they're going to go with Kevin Kelly, a right-hander. So Kevin Kelly will be the new pitcher for the Rays. Wasn't all that great. He was 2-5 with a 5.90 ERA, but he's winning 7-2, so got some leeway there. We'll do the numbers on Littell. He went 6 innings. He struck out 9, gave up 2 runs. They were earned. Gave up 4 hits. And he walked no one. So Kelly is your new pitcher to start the 7th. He's a +1 hold, +2, but I doubt that matters. And we got Ryan McMahon to lead off for the Rockies. Hello, Robert. 2-9, and that is a strikeout. Yet another strikeout for the Rockies. And here's Chris Bryant using the nameless player. That's a 2-10, and that's a single for Chris Bryant. What do you know? He finally gets a base hit. Chris Bryant with the 1-out single. Here is Michael Toglia. 3-12 for Toglia. That's a ballpark single check, and he is a switch hitter batting left, so it's a 1-6 for the base hit. And he Of course you find a 7. What else would it be? Line out to second, 2 down. And here's Hunter Goodman, the catcher. And that's a 5-6, and that's a ground ball to short. That'll take care of it. We go to the 7th inning stretch. It's 7-2 Rays. Hello, Jim. And Robert, you came in late. The Rockies were ahead 2-0. I had hopes, but those hopes have definitely vanished when the Rays batted around the 5th and scored 7 runs. That kind of took care of everything. So here is Jonathan Aranda. And actually, that's going to be it for Herget. We're going to go ahead and bring in the other left-hander, Luis Peralta. And he's horrible. Peralta 1-3 with a 947 earned run average. 1-3 with a 947 for Peralta. But he is facing 2 out of 3 left-handers. So I'm trying to play it like they would play it. So we still have Bird, Shaviyi, and Halverson have not pitched yet for the Rockies in either game. And he is pronounced Shaviyi. That's how it's pronounced. Shaviyi. All right, so Aranda, let's get Herget's numbers. Herget gave up 1 hit. He pitched, let's see, struck out 3. Didn't walk anybody, didn't give up any runs. Went an inning in the 3rd. All right, Peralta, +9 hold. That's wonderful. For a left-hander, you think you have a better hold than that, but what are you going to do? I am doing super advanced all the way. The only thing I don't do is robbing home runs and blocking the plate. Everything else, clutch, ballpark effects, stealing, defense, everything is super advanced. Here is Aranda, lefty on lefty matchup, 1-5. That's a double, 1-7. 8-20 will be a single. And that's a single for Aranda, leadoff single. Aranda is on. Here's Christopher Morel, left fielder. It's a 4-8, and that's a walk. So Peralta's not doing very well, is he? As you might expect from his numbers. Here's Cameron Meisner. This might be it for Peralta if he doesn't get Meisner. 4-6, and that's a ground ball, second base X. Chance for a double play if they can get some help from the D20. And we'll look at the X charts. Second baseman is Farmer. He's a 3E5. That's not bad. So for 3, he needs, if he wants a double play, you got to have at least a 15. To make an out, you have to have at least a 5. That's an 11. So an 11 will be a G2 force play. Now E5 at second base. E5, 16 and 18 are the only errors. And there is no error there. So it's a 4-6 fielder's choice. Reaching first is Meisner, and going to third is the runner Morel. I'm sorry, Aranda. So runners are at the corners with 1 out for Danny Jansen. And I think the Rockies are going to the bullpen again. And they're going to get Jake Bird. They're going to hope the bird is the word. Jake Bird coming on. Peralta did face his minimum of 3 batters. So Bird is on. And he's a -3, makes him a -2. Peralta walked a batter. He did go a third of an inning. Walked a batter and gave up a hit. Don't know about the runs yet because he is responsible. He is responsible for both runners on base. So you never know. As we get this going here. All right, had to plug it in to make sure my laptop didn't lose battery. Okay, so Danny Jansen facing Jake Bird. Let's look at Bird. Bird is 4-2 with a 5.53 ERA. He gets picked up by the Yankees later in the season. Right now, he is with the Rockies. Back up just a hair to make sure the card fits. Okay, so runners at the corners, infield back for the double play. We get a 4-2, and that's a ballpark blast. Jansen has normal power. It is 1-13. It would be a 3-run home run. And it is gone. Danny Jansen, a 3-run home run. He greets Bird with a 3-run homer. The Bird was not the word. It is now 10-2 Tampa Bay. Close the book on 2 of those runs. So Jansen, a 3-run, making it 10. And now Taylor Walls is up. 1 out, base is clear. 3-6 for Walls, and that is out. Out number 2 for Johnny DeLuca, the center fielder. 6-3, and that is a split. 1-9 to single. Anything else lines to short, and that's a liner to short and the inning. But the 3-run home run from Danny Jansen makes it a 10-2 ball game. 10 unanswered runs by the Rockies. All right. Kelly Hayes, they're usually 1-inning pitchers as far as fatigue goes, so we'll use him for 1 inning only. And you can bring in pretty much anybody you want. I think they're going with Mason Englert. I'm going to go with Mason Englert to come on and pitch. The top of the 8th. Don't even have to use their closer Fairbanks because it's nowhere near a closing situation. So it'll be Englert facing Martini, Farmer, and Beck. Oh, wrong team. Let's get the right team up there. We don't need the Rays batting again. They've already battered them enough. All right, here's Martini. 5-5, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We are looking at Walls. He's a 1, so we know he's going to get to it. The E10, he's got to avoid 16, 17, 3, and 18, which he does. So it's good play for Taylor Walls. 1 away. And that will bring up Kyle Farmer. That's a 3-9 for Farmer. 1-9 to single. Anything else, he lines to second. And that's a base hit for Farmer. That'll bring up Jordan Beck. Beck 0 for 2. We might get a pinch hitter here for the Rays. They're going to use Mickey Moniak. Mickey Moniak will come on and pinch hit. Stay in the game to play left field. Mickey Moniak. 270 hit, 24 home runs. Mickey Moniak. He will stay in the game to play left field. Moniak, the pinch hitter. Here in the 8th inning. He will play left field in the 8th. So Moniak is up. Runner at first, 1 out. Lefty swinging Moniak. That's a 2-8, and Moniak pops it up to first. Number 2. And now we're looking at Brenton Doyle, leadoff hitter. Chuck, Tabby just got part 1 of her hair trim, and she is not happy about it whatsoever. She's not in here with me. She is mad. But she'll feel better once we finish it. We can only do a little bit at a time. She's got so much fur. She can only sit still for so long, so we're going to finish it tomorrow. Here's Brenton Doyle. It was time for a summer haircut. 2-3 for Doyle, and that's a foul out to Jansen to end the inning. And now we go to the bottom of the 8th with a 10-2 ball game. That'll be it for Englert. Englert goes 1 inning, gives up a hit, nothing else. They will most likely use Clevenger to close things out, or to finish things up. It's not a closing situation. Jake Bird, let's see, Bird gave a home. He only faced 3 batters, so he's got a relief factor of 2. So we'll go ahead and have Bird pitch the 8th inning as well. That is the 8th inning as they bat it around. Yandy Diaz will lead things off. And that's a 2-11. And that's a ballpark blast. 1-13 for Yandy Diaz. And it's 20. They got a break. So just a deep fly to left field. And there's one away. Here's Brandon Lau. 1-11. Ground ball to short, 2 down. For Junior Caminero. Don't forget tonight around 8 o'clock, maybe 8:15, we'll have the final round of the championship from TPC Sawgrass on History Maker Golf. And then tomorrow will be Sunday Basic Sunday, where we play a game from 1962 in Strat-O-Matic Basic. Here's Caminero, 1-4, and it's ground ball to third to end the inning. So Bird pitched pretty well, inning and 2/3. He gave up the 1 hit with the home run. He he didn't walk anybody, struck 1 out. I think it's safe to put the X there. I don't think the Rays are going to score 8 runs this inning. So 10 runs on, looks like 12 hits. And right now, Rockies 2 runs on 6 hits. So coming in to pitch for Tampa Bay will be Clevenger, the left-hander. So let's bring Clevenger in. Find his card. There he is, Garrett Clevenger. Garrett Clevenger. Clevenger, 2-6, 2.35 ERA, 2 saves. Left-handed pitching Garrett Clevenger. -5 on his hold. I don't think holds matter at this late in the ball game, but just for general purposes. And now Ezekiel, Tovar, McMahon, and Bryant are your scheduled hitters. Here is Tovar. That's a 5-11. Just the right-hander struck him out. That'll bring up McMahon. That's a 5-4, lefty, and that's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Caminero. He's a 3E20. So as a 3, he needs at least a 5 to get to this. That's a 2. It's going to get through for a base hit. And now the E20 at third base. He's got to avoid 11, 14, and 15. And he does just that, but the base hit is still good. And now we'll get a pinch hitter for Chris Bryant. They will pinch hit with Bouchard. Backup outfielder Bouchard. But it's time to give some of your bench guys some at-bats. Get us behind. Get them some, especially when they haven't hit all year. This will be the first at-bat of the year for Bouchard. So you might as well let him have an experience of an at-bat. Bouchard. So Bouchard facing Clevenger. At a 5-7, struck him out. Clevenger, 2 strikeouts. And Michael Tolia, last chance for the Rockies. He will turn around and bat right-handed for the first time. Michael Tolia. 4-10, and that is a strikeout there, and that's your ball game. Clevenger ends up striking out the side. Gets up a hit, nothing else. And there are your totals. I don't think there are any errors in the game that I can remember. So that's it. Rockies dropped to 2-0. 0-2, rather. As the Rocky Horror Baseball show continues. Maybe they need to do the time warp to help them out. I don't know. Rockies now 0-2. They will wrap up the series. Ryan Feltner, a right-hander, will be on the mound for the Rockies in Game 3, and Taj Bradley, a right-hander for the Rays, will be on for the Rays in Game 3. Once Colorado leaves Tampa, they will fly to Philadelphia, have a 3-game set at Citizens Bank Park, and then they'll head home for their home opener against the Athletics. Right now, Rockies are 0-2, so 59-game journey, which they went 9-50. They are now 0-2. They were 1-1 real world, so they're already under their pace, which is scary because the way these cards are, you're wondering if they can ever win. I mean, I got fooled through 4 innings. I'm telling you what. Through 4 innings here, I got fooled. They were up 2-0 and since doing wonderfully through 4 innings. Then in the 5th inning, I mean, he struck out DeLuca to start the inning. I think, okay, good to go. But then it all fell apart. So just that quickly. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great Saturday, whatever you have planned for your day. I'll probably take a little bit of break. Hello, Dr. D. I'm playing the 2025 replay with the Rockies, Dr. D. That's what I'm doing, at least the first 59 games. I might not go past 59 games. I'm trying to recreate. They were 9-50 as of June. I think it was June the 1st. They were 9-50. So and then they won 3 games in a row and blew it. So I'm going to try to mimic that and see what happens. I'll rest up for a couple of hours, eat some dinner, and check on Tabby, see how she's doing. And then around 8 to 8:15-ish tonight, we will have final round coverage of the Players Championship from TPC Sawgrass in History Maker Golf. And we'll see how the final back 9 goes. I've already played the front 9 offline. So when we pick it up, it'll be starting with the leaders the last group at the 10th hole and the first group at the 13th hole. So we can pick it up from there and see how they do. Obviously, if you know anything about History Maker Golf, you start that 4th round with 12 golfers, but some of them inevitably become out. See who's in contention, who's out of contention, and get that going. 62 for tomorrow, the 1962 in Basic Sunday Basic. And there you go, Beatles. That's another play on words with the Sunday Bloody Sunday from YouTube is Basic Sunday Basic. That's where that came from. And I take a game from 1962 and play it out in Strat-O-Matic Basic, picking a different team every day, every Sunday. And last week it was the Dodgers and Braves. I'm not sure what I'm going to do this week. I'll look at the schedule and figure it out. But yeah, so, you know, I'm trying to use a little culture and a little bit of puns and play on words. So Sunday Basic Sunday and the Rockies Horror Baseball Show. So, you know, try and do both of those at the same time. I got a lot on my plate. If you notice on the channel, I'm not one to go post my games on Facebook, say, hey, look what I played. You see what I play. Everything I play is on YouTube. So every single thing I play pretty much is on YouTube. Every game in the game of the week, every game in this Rocky thing, every game on the 87 Strat replay, except for maybe 1 or 2 that don't fit in for the whole week. And then you've got the Sunday Basic Sunday. I play that every time. So I prefer to show you what's going on than try to tell you about it and write about it. I prefer to show you. So anyway, that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great weekend, whatever you have planned. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And we'll see you all down the road.